It's 5:29. I'm calling this meeting to order.
See it, I started ready now?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. First item on the agenda is to call the meeting to order, which I have. Roll call, all members of our city council are present. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda. I don't believe we have any additions or deletions.
I'll move.
We have a motion by Councilor Kaler. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Councilor Wegner. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we go to the approval of the minutes from Monday, November 6th, the regular city council meeting. Chair would entertain a motion to approve those.
Move to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Councilor Boulder.
Second.
We have a second by Councilor Holden. Discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
And I will vote yes, motion carries 5-0. We'll go to the minutes of Monday, November 13th. That is our committee of the whole meeting. Chair would entertain a motion to approve those.
I'll move.
We have a motion by Councilor Kaler.
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilor Buller. Discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we have a resolution for the adoption of payments and claims. We have our monthly permanent improvement going to Fund 401 in the amount of $66,666.66. That's coming evenly from the 601 water and the 603 sewer in the amount of $33,333.33. We have going to reserve for capital outlay, $20,567.25. That's coming from the 601 water in the amount of $14,693, and the 603 sewer in the amount of $5,874.25, for total transfers of $87,233.91. Accounts payable, we have City of International Falls regular claims of $534,831.57, and International Falls Public Library board claims of $4,587.26, for a total accounts payable of $539,418.83. Chair would entertain a motion for the adoption of the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Councilor Holden. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Councilor Wigner. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
And I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Go to audience. Is there anyone in the audience that has anything to come forward with? All right, there will also be an opportunity later in the meeting. Going to the consent agenda, we have a list of licenses for the city. We have Amex Duty Free for gasoline pumps, Icebox Investments doing business as Dairy Queen for a restaurant license, On the Way Cafe, a restaurant license, Sound North, a pawnbroker license, and we also have a Meritas dental insurance renewal at no increase. Chair would entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilor Buller.
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilor Kaler. No discussion on the consent agenda. Call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have a retirement letter. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the retirement of Bruce Wilson effective November 25th, 2023.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilor Buller. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Wegner. Discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
And I will vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we have consider the reduction of the city assessed fees on property located at 816 9th Street. If we have a memory of last week's Committee of the Whole meeting, this came up for the first time. We have a neighbor that would like to purchase the property. However, the taxes that we have the assessments that we had on the property were pretty high for him to be able to purchase the property and the assessments and do some additional work on the property. Mr. Wordier, myself, and the city administrator were able to sit down, and he has discussed being able to pay $10,000 towards the assessed fees. Paul, do you have anything that you'd like to add to that? I see you're online.
I don't at this time.
So the chair would like to take the recommendation of the group of $10,000 to have those assessments moved down to.
I'll move.
We have a motion by Councillor Kaler. Do we have a
Second.
second? We have a second by Councillor Buller. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
And I'll vote yes, motion carries. Paul, that will be dropped down to $10,000. If you would like to continue working with the city administrator on your process, or we are willing to move forward in that capacity.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next we have a resolution authorizing the execution of the Minnesota Department of Transportation Airport Agreement, Minnesota Agreement 1053958, project number A3601-117. Chair would entertain a motion to adopt that resolution.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councillor Buller. Do we have a second? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councillor Kaler. I was asked by Councillor Wagner before we got started if I could just give a little background on what this one is. And I think given the set of circumstances that we're having with being able to fund the airport, it makes perfect sense to be able to explain these a little bit better.
That is why I open it for discussion.
Okay. So this particular is for the airport parking lot rehabilitation and snow removal equipment. The federal government is going to be paying 77.47%. The state share is 14.05%, which is what we're asking for in this this Minnesota Department of Transportation, which is $139,431.27. That leaves the city and the county's share on the project for the rehabilitation of the parking and snow removal equipment, $84,162.48. The way that we have the agreement, that is split two ways. So that is what this particular contract is for.
Is this part of the budgeted money for next year that we allocated or possibly will put in the budget for 2024?
I would guess, since that this is in the fiscal year of 2023, would be a project that we approved for last year.
Yep.
So.
Also, yeah.
And I would just say this one little piece. When we do talk about that $84,162.48, the city taxpayers are paying half of that. And then the city taxpayers are also paying a portion of their county taxes towards that. So again, the city residents are paying more than the people that are paying outside the county or outside the city limits of International Falls. I just want to make sure that that's clear as we continue to have these discussions about the airport. So,
And I just thought, like, and that's why it's a question, I'm not willing to finance any more past 2024 at this time. And if it's not gonna be that, I'm fine with it.
okay. Fantastic. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or questions on the resolution before us? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
And I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we go to land sale options. This is going to be the housing site M. I said this last week in our committee of the whole when we were starting the conversation with Paul about the assessments that we just dropped. We're kind of in a new territory. We have people coming and asking to buy property from the city to build. And that is the question that we have on this property. The intent would be to build a home on this property, but we still have to go through the process that we did on the last one, which was purchased by auction from Miss Debbie Dunn. So the current land value on this corner lot is $9,000. What we have before us right now is to discuss what the city would like to put as a land value. That isn't what we're asking. All we're putting is a land value of what the property is worth. And then we will be going out for sealed bids. After the sealed bids come in, they would be opened here at the council meeting. And then after that, the folks that did bid can come in and they can raise their bid, and we can actually have a bidding process right here in the chambers as we did about 2 months ago. So right now it's on the council. I would ask the council to have some discussion on how much we'd like to put the property value at. I open the floor to the council. Any thoughts?
Have we have it appraised?
We don't have it appraised. We do have the assessor's market values,
Yeah,
which would be
9,000.
9,000. Yeah.
See that.
And that's what we did last time when we had those 3 lots. We just used that dollar amount that they had on there. And it is a starting point for them. They can go lower, they can go higher. It's just something that we have to put on paper to publish. Is that correct?
I would move to set the value at the assessor's market value
I'll
right
second
now.
it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to go 9,000. Any other discussion?
Just talk about coming out of this has been a vacant lot for a long time. I mean, this one there, so, but it's good size, it's a good one. I mean, it's gonna be my turn to talk about back in the day.
Well, I'd like to hear that.
I remember when that used to be the grader shed for South Falls, and there used to be a
Yeah.
pump house there. It's a nice lot right on the corner. I'm still wondering where the sidewalks are. Other side of 15th Street, I guess the sidewalks are, not running in front of it. That's all. And did this, what, there are sidewalks going right in front of that one, Ted? No. I didn't think so. Well, he said, but they're across the street.
Well, good.
When it's
They're
an
close.
old Eiffel, not, this is back in South Falls. where
That
this
makes a
came
lot
from.
worth more, you don't have to shovel it then.
Yeah, right. No, I just wondering, I was just reading the thing, or the assessor's thing, and I was wondering, because I know.
It's better.
But I miss a lot, so I might have missed that. And did he find this on our website?
Yes,
Oh, nice.
yes.
already.
There is another lot that we are kind of having some conversation and working through that'll be coming to the council soon too. We have another lot that has some interest for a project, so. We have some really good stuff going on in International Falls right now. So we have a motion and a second. Can you just give the timeline for this? Because I believe we're still trying to get this done in this calendar year, correct?
Correct, thank you, Mayor. What we need to do is declare the value, then you need to declare it surplus property, and then you need to authorize for a real estate for sealed bids. And that's the last document in your packet, and if everything is approved this evening and what works through, we'll have this real estate for sale for bids, out for bids, on December 1st and 8th in the Rainy Lake Gazette. Then we will open them on December 18th at the regular city council meeting during the opening bid section of the meeting, and going forward from there.
Okay, fantastic.
Question.
Yes.
Do we need to declare it surplus property today also then?
Yes, after you determine the value, then the next motion would be declare surplus property.
Okay,
I still move.
okay. Well, we already have a motion.
We got a
We'll do
motion.
we'll do the next one
We
afterwards.
haven't voted yet?
No,
No, I had to give my history lesson.
Oh, that's what took it.
Yeah.
Had we not heard about the sidewalks, we'd probably be.
Yeah.
a little tour in time there.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to value it at $9,000. Call the question,
Aye.
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 and I will vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. And what was that? You have a motion to declare that surplus
Surplus
property from Counselor Buller?
The
Do we-
auction,
To be auctioned,
seal bid. Yep.
sealed bid auction.
Seal bid auction.
Excellent, excellent motion there.
Is there a
Do we have a
second?
second? Yep.
Second.
Oh, got it right here. Oh, you guys are too fast at this. All right, we have a motion by Counselor Buller. We have a second by Counselor Wegner. We have a third by Counselor Holden. Any discussion? Call the question,
Aye.
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 and I'll vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. Next, approve an order of removal or repair in the matter of the hazardous building located at 1103 9th Street. City Attorney.
So what this property is it's the Wilcox Garage. The house was already torn down, the garage is still standing. There are criminal proceedings already going forward, but I did review the pictures and talked with the fire marshal. There's a hole in the roof of the garage, that this is one of the ones that just made more sense to tear down.
Any questions or concerns with the city attorney? Hearing none, Chair would entertain a motion to approve the order of removal
I'll
or
make that
repair.
motion.
We have a motion by Counselor Holden. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Wegner. Discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
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 I'll vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. Public Works Committee recommendations. First item we have here is approve a purchase of a single axle plow truck. Update from the 4/18/2022 request. Any, either member of the committee want to give us an update on that?
There was a price increase on it, and the state bid was, had gone,
Up?
well, the state bid was ended, and the new state bid came in, and this is what the price increase is on a truck that we like to purchase. Right?
Yes, that's because we, original one fell through that we agreed on last fall.
Yep.
Ted's looking, he's like, do I have to go up there?
Yeah.
He wants to come.
No, I don't.
We were close.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I just wanted to come up here and clarify that, when you get a signed deal through state bid, they normally commit to it. This order was canceled. The salesman no longer works at the firm. He canceled 60 orders for plow trucks throughout the state of Minnesota. And by the time I found out that our order was canceled, their state bid prices had, and it wasn't so much the truck manufacturer as it was the body manufacturer, which really didn't hold up the deal. I mean, matter of fact, they called me and asked me if the deal was still going through, and I said, well, yeah, and I called the trucking company, and they said the salesman no longer works there, and he got himself in a little pickle. So sadly, it cost us more money.
Roughly 20,000, is that correct?
Well, actually, with the truck actually
Oh.
is 67.
Yeah.
And I did price out another truck that was ready to go from another manufacturer, and they were actually $87,000 over what I priced in 2022.
So my follow-up question is, So since you had it budgeted in 2022, we're buying it now in 2023 on the state bid. Obviously, it's coming out of your reserve for capital outlay, but your fund, how does that affect you for your future purchases? I mean,
So reserve for capital outlay, right, carries over?
Yep, yep.
Okay, so I had money in there for 22 and 23, okay? So it is going to affect, you know, and the biggest struggle is, we've talked about it at Public Works, is like the sweeper. The sweeper needs to be replaced in 2025, okay? If I don't order the sweeper in 2024, I'm not going to get it in 2025, right? So that's kind of, that's what that $70,000 is going to hamper that. You know, we're also looking at a Vector, that's 18 months out. So that's kind of the world we're living in right now. And I get concerned that if we do approve ordering a piece of equipment, and we're not going to get it delivered until '25, if my 2025 budget gets cut, you know, there's going to be ramifications to that.
and so, again, we're still in the budget and there's still conversation. We're pretty close to being done with that, but, so this is affecting this year's budget, which then affects your next year's budget to the tune of $67,000. So by leaving you at our 2023 levels in 2024 because of having to fund the airport, how does, I mean, that pushes you another $70,000 back from what?
Technically, on my street cap outlay budget, no, because I have kept that pretty much the same the last 4 years, okay? Planning out through my 25 purchases, plus there was a slight decrease this year because I rolled the lease money,
Okay,
okay, into my 101s to make the lease payments on the vehicle. So of all the budgets, I mean, but I'm still gonna take a $68,000 hit.
right, absolutely,
Right.
any way you
Yep.
slice it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And again, not planned, it just came up.
Yes, and it's disappointing, and but like I say, when I can have another manufacturer drive the truck up turnkey, and that's almost $90,000 over what, you know, that's the world we're living in right now.
I was gonna say excellent, but that's not excellent. Please.
What is the turnaround time on that?
Yeah.
Is still?
It's gonna be third quarter of '24.
Third quarter of '24.
Yep, so it's not, we probably will not see it this winter.
But we're still good with the equipment we have going in.
Yes, we actually changed the sander body on our tandem. The big thing is I need to replace a tandem dump truck. I need to get rid of the International I have. So what we're gonna do is take the tandem plow truck we have, pull the plow equipment because the sander body in that is on borrowed time. We're gonna pull the plow equipment off, put that into our tandem fleet for hauling snow. Get rid of the International, that's nickel and diming us new. The Max Force engine is, Ricky can testify to how many times he's had to haul it to Virginia for us. So we put a new chain on our sander body to get us through this year.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
if we lose that, but we can make do. But, well, we need to get a new plow truck.
Understood. All right, so we do not have a motion. Chair would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion by Counselor Buller. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Counselor Kaler. And any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
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 I will vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, Public Works reorganization. Mr. Brokaw.
So with the retirement of our chief plant operator, as we've been slowly restructuring how Public Works looks since 2016, 2017, this is another change through attrition that currently the way we're set up, so we've got one supervisor that supervises 2 employees. We've got another supervisor that supervises 18. Well, my recommendation is to hire a utility supervisor that is over water distribution, sewer collection, storm sewer, the city electrician, and the water plant, and try and balance it out. We've got 2 new job descriptions. I would recommend that we move the public works supervisor into an assistant public works director and give permission to advertise to hire a utility supervisor.
So ultimately, this would be a cost savings for us because we're not going to be having two major.
Right, we're not adding anybody, it depending on the qualifications of the public works supervisor or the utility supervisor, it could be a cost to the city of $5,600, depending on where in their, based on their qualifications. So it is a slight increase.
So, just to make sure that I have a complete understanding of it, when we put this out, any of the staff members that we have at the city have the right, but it's to apply.
Absolutely, yep.
And also
It's gonna be a
anybody else.
salaried position.
Correct.
So we will advertise and, anybody can apply. I encourage employees, I've talked to several of them so far that have kind of asked me about it, and I encourage all current employees to apply.
Excellent. Any questions on this? I'm sorry, I asked the question to start talking. Any questions?
Does it have any ramifications with your union people?
It shouldn't,
Any changes to their work?
nope.
It's a non-union position now.
The one thing
It says
it's
day-to-day
always-
operational duties.
it always, it amazes me when things come full circle, and this was one of the first things as mayor that we started working on when Chelsea was on city council, and this was one of the things that we started talking about is through the course of the next 15 years, what is the department's gonna look like? We don't wanna keep everything the same, there has to be ways that we can be more efficient for the residents of International Falls, and it's just interesting that now it's starting to happen. Government moves really slowly, but we also are doing it through attrition as employees are retiring and such too, so.
And it has not happened in the order that I always assumed it would, right? It just never has, and this is, yes, that was one of the things when I was hired as Public Works Director was to restructure and try and make the Public Works Department more efficient. And one of the big things is the lack of supervision that we have. It's tough for a Public Works Supervisor to supervise 20 people.
I have a question for you. So we'll have a Public Works Director, we'll have an Assistant Public Works Director, and we'll have a Utility Supervisor. Who are the union employees responsible as an immediate supervisor? Who are they going to be reporting to?
So,
The Utility Supervisor or the
Nope.
Assistant Public Works Director?
so the Utility Supervisor will take care of the water plant, the water shop staff, and the city electrician.
Okay.
Okay, that will kind of be, I think it's 8 employees. The rest will report directly, on the street side, will report directly to the Assistant Public
Public
Works
Works.
Director. Yep. And ultimately, the utility supervisor will report to the Assistant Public Works Director as well. So if there's kind of a current org chart in your packet, and then how it would look if we made this change.
Is the Utility Supervisor, is he salary?
Yep. And right now, our current chief plant operator is a supervisor, but he only supervises 2 people.
Yeah.
It's unbalanced. And I think the utility side needs a little bit more structure, and I think that this will get us there.
I know that this is a past conversation that we've had, with having a, utility supervisor, will the plant operator license, what will they need for that, position?
So there's a timeline of getting a Class B license within 5 years. Okay, we do currently have an hourly employee who does have a Class B license that we will make water under their license.
Okay.
And we're kind of going through that, learning that process right now. We're coming to the month end, so we have our monthly paperwork that we have to get to the Department of Health by the first week of December. We're working very close with the Department of Health to make that transition.
And our outgoing supervisor, he has a Class A license.
Yes.
But we don't need a Class A license.
No, we are currently a B plant, and, no, I don't want to say currently, we are going to be a B plant until somebody tells us different.
Excellent.
We do.
Well,
there
and
was-
it's just when you see someone leaving with a particular license
Yep.
and
And technically Sean Kelly, we are going to be working under his license, has an A license as well.
oh, okay.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep,
And again, we don't need one, it's just,
So if we were told we had to have one, then we could put Sean in that
Yep.
position.
excellent. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the Public Works reorganization.
So moved.
We have a motion by Counselor Buller,
I'll second.
second by Counselor Kaler. Any additional questions or concerns with layout? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
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 All right.
I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Thanks.
thank you very much.
I got one more question for
Uh-oh.
you, Ted.
Yes,
Are you going to play a football this weekend?
of course.
All right, I was just checking. making-
Sacramento State.
Yeah, it's a big weekend.
Well, it was
Beavers,
a-
hockey, and.
Pretty nervous this weekend sitting there, I'll tell you. Yeah.
Are you going to talk about football or hockey? Excellent. What are we having?
Mayor, should we also include with that approving the advertisement for the utility supervisor position?
Oh, that we just approved in the organizational chart?
Yeah.
Chair would entertain a motion to approve the utility supervisor position.
No,
Advertisement.
Advertisement. Did I say Phil?
Did not.
Oh. Okay. We're just going to get one
Make that
then.
motion.
Okay. He made the motion to advertise for
Second.
such.
Second.
We have a second over there by Counselor Buller. I love that you guys keep me in track. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
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 All right.
I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ted.
Next, we have a Committee of the Whole recommendation to approve earned, safe, and sick time policy. That was discussed by our HR director. Chair would entertain a motion to approve that.
I so move.
We have a motion by Counselor Buller. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Counselor Kaler. Discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
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 All right.
I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Any other business to come before the council? Hearing none, we'll go to reports of the administrator, attorney, and department heads. City administrator.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I have nothing additional, just the few bullets on the reminders to point out, if you'll read those as you move forward in the
Yep.
packet.
Yep. City attorney?
I have nothing, thank you.
All right. Department heads? Nothing. Reports of the mayor, council committees, boards, and commissions?
I would just like to thank Adam for sending that report to us about the EMS board and the struggles, as we've all known what we knew, right? Misery Lakes Company, and it looks like we got a lot of it
Yeah.
with the struggles with ambulances all over. So, I did read it.
No, I think that was a very good summary.
Could you
Yeah.
come up, because I think that this is going to be important enough that everyone should hear it, at least
Sorry.
the paper. I apologize. Especially since I glanced at it and Betty and I were able to speak about it, but it's my reading list tonight. So if you could give me any pointers of what I need to be looking at in that document.
Well, I think as in the email, the executive summary, those first in pages 4 and 5
Yep.
were really highlighted what the report was about, and I think it really hit home what we've been talking about for, I don't even know, 6, 7 years now. since before we had the Mike Metro study. I mean, this is exactly what we were hitting on in 2016, 17, same stuff. So to have it done up in a report with tangible information and relative information with other ambulance services, I think that was huge. I think it shows the importance statewide. Betty and I sat in on a meeting today with the Minnesota Ambulance Association, just a roundtable meeting. And one of the things that came out of that is, well, I'm going to share this, I guess, but like Nashwauk Ambulance, they put out an RFP for their ambulance service today. So we're not the only ones hurt, and we're not the only ones suffering, so,
And they shut down, correct?
yes.
Yeah, they just closed up. So now the answer is yes, you can.
No, well, no,
They're not closed.
No, but they're putting out a MSR or a SRB so that someone can take over.
correct.
But,
But-
What happens if nobody takes over?
please.
Yes, it's their job to find a replacement.
And a follow-up conversation, which the three of us know this. There was a discussion on us finding someone to take our ambulance license, and it was going to cost the city $1.2 million a year to have them do that. So by us losing $250,000 or $400,000 is still cheaper than having someone else do the ambulance on our behalf, because you have to have, the license has to be filled. So the question would be, what happens if nobody else bids on that or takes it over? We don't know that answer, but yes, you can get out, or try to get out. So, one other thing, do you have the background information? Because Betty did give it to me on how that study all came about on, they kind of cleaned house at the MSR, or the ESRB.
So the former, I don't know what initiated the study, but the Office of Legislative Auditor, the OLA, went in and did I don't know what the word is. They audited the MSRB. And out of that audit, they replaced the executive director and some of the staff members of the MSRB. And I don't know that I ever heard why or what went on there, but.
That's not important.
But it's not important to us. So they got a new executive director in. His name is Dylan Ferguson. He is from Pennsylvania, I believe, out east. Anyway, he came with extensive EMS knowledge. One of the first things he initiated after that was kind of a whole rebuild of the EMSRB. He saw some flaws, saw some issues, wanted to rebuild the EMSRB and make some accountability into that organization. And one of the ways he did that was, fairly smart on his part, was made it a legislative requirement that ambulance services and ambulance directors like me have to answer a survey. And we did that in April, I believe it was. So we had to answer a survey and cough up a ton of numbers from our billing agency, from all of our records, and those were all culminated to make this report, and they're accurate numbers. They had to be, because of I can't remember the statute that's cited on the front of that report, but that's why. So he went about it correctly and offered up this report to see the status of EMS in the state of Minnesota, basically. So this is his first step in his rebuilding process and trying to reform the ambulance healthcare side of the state of Minnesota.
And which is what we've also talked to, too. One of the big thing is, other than the cost, especially for volunteer, is getting people to be volunteer EMTs. That was more than once brought out there, that it's getting harder.
Absolutely, and I think one of the struggles with getting that information in a document such as the one today, or that we're speaking about today, is there's so many different structures for running an ambulance, from volunteer, paid on call, combination, full-time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to get the numbers that they requested, I think actually did some good and got some good outcomes in that report. So I was very, I don't want to say I'm happy with the results, but I was excited to see that those numbers went to something worthwhile to make improvement steps down the road.
So, one piece of this that was in that study is on page 4, bullet point 6, insurance billables and payments. Ambulance services reported $1.2 billion in insurance billables, but only received $450 million and that's the problems we're having. We could bill legitimately $1 million, but if we're only receiving back $450,000 of that, it's not paying the bills. That's why we're losing money, and it's a stark reality. It's not just us; it's everyone. So,
Well, I agree with that, and I think one of the other points that jumped out at me as kind of an eye-opener was it's not a problem you can throw money at, and what I mean by that is they took the losses of all the ambulance services they surveyed, and it added up to $500 million, just shy of $500 million. So, I mean, even though the state has a surplus, that's fine for the year that you have the surplus, but to cough up $500 million year after year after year to cover those shortcomings is a lot of money. So, it was a pretty stark reality.
I've been in really close conversation with Senator Houschild on this, and he is on the state committee this year. So he is already knowledgeable about this, but again, we're going to continue having those conversations because I think we are even more unique than some of the other cities. I think we may have skewed it to be even worse than what it is, only because of the distance that we have to travel from northern Minnesota to Duluth. We skewed it to be even worse than what it could have been. So, because I think our numbers are worse than, on average than this is due to our distance.
Yep, I would agree with that.
All right. Thank you. That was the best department head update of the day.
Thank you.
He slammed you.
Totally. Not on purpose, though. Any other council committees, boards, and commissions? All right, we'll go back to audience. Got nothing?
I would just like that, it just come to my head, the Elks Thanksgiving meal, noon to 2 on Thursday, and you can call, numbers in the paper to get delivery, but it's for shut-ins, and we request people really be a shut-in, and because it takes people time, effort, and money, and someone might not get it that really needs it.
Well, if you're going to just have that pop in your head, I'm just going to say that we have a community Christmas parade on Friday,
Very good.
and that's being put on by Falls Memorial Hospital, wow. Wow. Rainy Lake Medical Center. I had a little jump back. You were talking about back in the day.
Is it starting out by Walgreens?
Yeah. Hey, we're all having our memory day today. Holy moly. And Mike's the only one who hasn't had do you remember back when?
I haven't had one tonight.
No.
I've had them in the past, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyways, Rainy Lake Medical Center is going to be putting on our community Christmas parade. I've heard Santa's going to be in the parade this year, as he has been in the past, and there is a big festivities in Smoky Bear Park, which should be absolutely wonderful. Not having the snow to trudge through as we have in the last couple of years.
Recording stopped.
Excellent.
It's not Friday yet. You never know.
Yeah, I just stopped talking because I didn't want to not be on the record.
All right, must be some type of hint.
So we'll just go to correspondence. Correspondence, we have a thank you letter from Lake Superior College for the donation of the surplus fire gear. International Falls Public Library board minutes, meeting information from November 8th. We are going to have a town hall meeting on next Thursday, a week from Thanksgiving, November 30th at 6 p.m. at the Bacchus Community Center. That's going to be in the newspaper coming up and on our social media. If it has not already been put out, I haven't noticed.
It has, and just for clarification, in this past Friday's paper, it said Monday, November 30th. And that was a typo on my part, because all of our meetings are Monday, so I misproofreading that, but it is Thursday, November 30th. It will be corrected in the next edition of the Rainy Lake Gazette as well.
Okay. And we have a next regular city council meeting will be on December 4th at 5:30 p.m. And we have a public hearing for Minnesota Deed, the Minnesota Investment Fund, and that's the application for the One Smiths Corporation for the work that's being done in the multimodal. That's going to be on Monday, December 11th, 2023 at 5 PM. It'll be in the middle of our committee of the whole, so we will stop the committee of the whole or recess the committee of the whole, have the public hearing with Felix and the One Smiths Corporation to take any public comment and get some information. And then if we are not finished, which I assume we will not be, with our committee of the whole, we will resume that after the public hearing. Please.
Also, Mayor, I realized I didn't put on here that on the Monday, December 4th meeting, we will also, is scheduled for our Truth and Taxation meeting.
Ooh,
That
excellent.
meeting as well, so you will have the documentation related to your proposed approved budget from September that you will be discussing with anybody who joins us for that time period.
Excellent.
And that is time sensitive, I believe it is 6 PM.
Yes. So again, in the event that we are still going for the council meeting, we recess it, bring it
That
back.
is correct.
So, all right, if there's nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.